Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Yes, this is your brother Taalib, alhamdulillah, Taalib Abdur Rahim, your friendly neighborhood Muslim. Yes, how's everybody? Alhamdulillah. Yeah, I'm here today to kind of give like quick talk on what will be going on, uh, preparation to, what we'll be speaking in the Islamic chat with our brother HTC. May Allah reward him for his efforts in trying to make clarity for what Islam is in relation to the issues that it came about, that I myself experienced, that I mentioned in my video prior to this one. Our brother Sujada Method of his channel, Sujada Method, he mentioned plenty of information, plenty of clarity, and will be more to come because we really want to get things clear for the people. Our efforts, our what we're trying to do is not to make war or fight against and whether it's to defend the truth and to bring the truth to the forefront and take away the falsehood and the misconceptions, the inconsistencies in that which the people brought, that I experienced in one of the groups, one of the and I say groups or panels, on the panel that I was in one of the video YouTuber stream area, and this person, the facilitator, and her panelist, the panelist, one of them, of course, I had a back and forth thing, and that was the experience basically in a brief, to put it briefly. But basically, we're not going to pretty much be bringing out and exposing anybody, so people don't have to worry about that. We're not trying to go head to head and all that type of stuff. We're just trying to bring better clarity on the issue, and basically, just on a clarity on what Islam is first, and quick to let you know, so that you understand the basis of that which what we're coming with is that we Muslim, or the Islam itself, the word means to submit and surrender to the deity that is the creator, Al Khalaq, the creator of all things, not just mankind, but all things, the earth, the heavens, everything on this earth, and everything beyond it, as I mentioned, the heavens. So, and the malaika, which is the angels, the jinns, which is the unseen being, that's other unseen being that besides the malaika, and only Allah knows their true the true unseen, and Allah is the creator of the unseen and the seen, as our brother mentioned as well. And mashallah, tabarak wa ta'ala. So basically, we have to understand that that's why we're here. And in Islam, we submit to this being. So now we become Muslim. Muslim means the one. Now, hold on to these things. Hold on to these words again. Hold on to these understandings. Islam, surrendering and submitting. That's what it means. That's basic. That's just a basic, simple meaning in English. Okay, we're breaking down English from the Arabic. Okay, the root of it means to submit, surrendering, and of course, peace comes as well with that. When you're doing it to the Creator, not to mankind. This is God where we have to understand the difference. And as we go on, as we learn, and we do listen to more of these videos that we're going to try to put out about Islam, and the understanding of mankind, and the understanding of differences of men, and even when it gets into the bad understanding of what mankind has done to each other with slavery, which is due to racism. Okay, people thinking their race is better or fearing another race, whatever. Racism is, it's a mental slave. It's a mental disorder, just like other things that mankind is doing and don't even realize that it's bad for them. It's not beneficial for them, for their life in this life at all. But basically, we're going to be getting into those issues, inshallah. We're going to be getting into them in trying to bring clarity for us. As African Americans in the diaspora, all the diasporans, African British, African Caribbean, African and other indigenous areas like the Aborigines and even Native Americans that have Afro heritage, African heritage, and that they may have settled here before the so-called Americans came here from Spain or Europe, period. Basically to say Christopher Columbus stumbling upon these areas, and the likes of their history. Basically, we are one under the Creator, whether we're African American, whether we're African, period, under the Creator with the Europeans and the Asians and all of the creation. Al-Khalaq doesn't cover just one nationality or race. It covers all creation, the Creator. And in Islam, we hold our life dearly and submit dearly and submit wholeheartedly. Those Muslims that don't, then you find that there's more errors with them. None of us are perfect. That's the understanding too that has to come about for people to know. None of us is perfect now. So the errors that we make is due to us being weak, is due to us partaking in our desires and crossing the bounds that which Allah already placed for us. So then we become sinners like just everyone else. But when you're submitting to Allah, you're not a sinner. You're a submitter. You're a slave. You're a servant of Allah. And as far as for the prophets, alhamdulillah, when Allah made the prophets and gave them prophethood, sin was not part of their life anymore. Alhamdulillah, He rid that of them. But before that, they might have sinned. They might have done wrong. And some of them didn't do any of that, like Isa, Jesus, who will be mentioned in other talks, again, as we've done in our, the Islamic stream that the brother does. We've had these talks, and some of you have listened. And those of you who had open minds and open hearts, you understand, not closed, biased minds and biased hearts, which is even more worse. Biased by whether it's some vindictive understanding. I can't say understanding, vindictive feelings because of what they experienced that they felt was negative, what was coming from Islam or people who are of Islam. Most of it was due to the actions of the Muslims, not the faith. They probably weren't even implementing the faith correctly. And Allah knows best, and they know their experience, that which got them to feel the type of way that they felt, to have a very strong animosity, strong, aggressive, vindictive feelings to say, oh, all that religion and the Muslims and whatever, that stuff is trash. That's the Arab stuff and all. These are the statements that some of these people make. It's extreme to me. It doesn't seem like it's on a balance. It doesn't seem like they're really being sincere and helpful to their people, especially at these times when African diasporans are trying to make their way out of the lands that which they were brought to oppressively by another person, the worst of the people who oppressed us. And then we want to choose and pick and choose who we want to pick and choose at, who we want to attack and say, well, they slaved us too, so let's get them. First we'll get them, and then we'll get them. And just run around like people who are in a gang fight. Yeah, excuse my expression. Yeah, that nigga did. He was over there. Let's get him too. Yeah, he did it too. He was involved. Yeah, the Arabs was involved. Let's get them too. No, we're not gangs. We got to get out of that mentality. We got to get out of that street mentality. We got to come to that we are people trying to wake up. We are people trying to get back to that which we lost. So let's be sincere on that, and let's leave off from the nature that which we were taught in the lands that we were brought to and oppressed. It's calling people garbage and their beliefs garbage. No, that's not how you deal with the people. You come to the people and you give them respect. You come to the people and you speak to them and they want to understand why was this done. Okay, then when they give you the clarity, say, okay, I'll go on that. I'll think that over and I'll try to, you know, see how that feels, but let you know how I feel what happened. I didn't like it. I didn't like how my people was done. And I'm not gonna allow that to happen again. And then I can say to you, yeah, you think I like that? What happened to our people? I didn't like it neither. I wasn't even there though, and you wasn't there. We weren't there in that fight or in that battle or in that oppressive actions that were done. We weren't there, but our people were, and they suffered it, and it caused a downtrodden effect for us in the lands that we ended up in. Now we're waking up, and that's the point. But first, when you wake up and you open your eyes, let's look at it like this. You wake up and you open your eyes, you're trying to get adjusted. You have to let your body get adjusted. You can't just jump up, because if you jump up out of your bed, you're gonna get dizzy and fall out. So if you're being too hasty and you want to, go at everything and do everything and try to get everything done in one day, try to change the things that have happened in the past and make them, totally disappear, or change them that which was done over that time took so long to do. 400 years to get us where we're wearing pants off our butts, and we don't even know what type of sex we want to be, and we're out there marching and for our life because we're getting people that's supposed to take care of us and protect us, putting their knee on our necks. We're mixed up. Dysfunction in our families is a tradition. Fathers missing out of the family net. It's a tradition. Men imprisoned that are African American or African descent more in these countries than in any other country. The crime is a tradition, street life, gangster lean, shot callers, thug nigga, guns and drugs. Excuse my expression as I use that word, but we know what I'm talking about. That life. Then we come to religion and we accept other people's religion that is not connected to the Creator truly, with the essence that where it started from, until you finally get there and you find out and you say, wow, this is it. Because I didn't create myself. All those people didn't create themselves. And then some of them be calling themselves gods or God bodies. But they can't even stop a cold or COVID from getting them sick. They can't stop a bullet from, entering their body. They're calling themselves God bodies, and then they're laying on the ground, blood leaking out of them, because another God body who claimed he was a God body had some beef with him because they couldn't handle the cipher. Because the cipher was without their Lord in it as he's supposed to be. Meaning, we're not gods. We're just human beings. We're brothers of the brotherhood, worshiping the being above us, the being who created all of this, the being who's given us this blood that we have in our bodies and given us rights over each other, that we don't harm each other. That's what we learn in Islam. That's the brotherhood and the sisterhood that we speak about. Now, with my brotherhood, as far as with human race, and as far as even more close net with my African people, that's through bloodline. That's through, which is very gone, pretty much gone until you connect it with your DNA. And you go, and as we have been able to do Thankful to the scientists and the technology today from Allah. We thank Allah first, and the people who are not corrupt in it, but have ventured in it to do give people a better understanding of that which they came from, or who they came from. But until you do that, you don't know who you are. This is our dilemma. This has been our dilemma. Diasporans. It's not just an African problem neither. Why you think you have Ancestry.com or any of these ancestry of DNA finding websites for people? Because people are trying to find where they're coming from. They're trying to connect. But we have to do it more because it has been taken from us. It's been stolen. Our right to know who we are, as the Prophet himself in Islam, that the people say he owned slaves, better to know as servants. Those people work for him. But we'll get into that again. And the proofs and evidences. Know this, inshallah. And I'm not here boasting, because this is not for me. This is for Islam. This is for Allah. I'm here, not on no stage. I want the truth to be heard. I want the truth to be out. Let the truth be revealed. The haqq, the truth that Allah is going to reveal through us and my brothers, and inshallah. So basically, to get to the point, I've thrown different areas to the one point, is that we're going to learn, we're going to understand what Islam is in relation to these issues that came about. And our African American brothers and sisters to get to learn, whether you're a non-Muslim or especially if you're a Muslim, and especially if you're a new Muslim, that you need to learn to establish your faith and not allow people to bring you doubt that your faith has something to do with slavery. Islam never had anything to do with slavery. Islam, as Allah guided the people in progression, in stages, because he was guiding the Prophet at that time too. Know this, when Bilal ibn Rabah, that was mentioned, if you heard in this video or this stream that I was in, he was the first muezzin. He was one of the first Muslims. Yes, under the Prophet's guidance. He was learning from the Prophet. You understand? And all these things were being done, but he was a slave at the time under someone else's ownership. And he was given a process of freedom. Some would say manumission, whatever word you want to use. But the process to be simple. Let's be simple. Let's using all these words. Not everybody is going to understand or comprehend these terms. So let's deal with the simple words of this English language. He was bought by Abu Bakr radiyallahu anhu. And I'm just coming into this, like I said, I'm coming with different areas of the main point. And through the guidance and the advisement of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the people knew the other Muslim brothers and sisters of his brotherhood that he was going to that he entered into, Bilal, to free him so that he can have his freedom and his life to live and being able to worship Allah freely. And not to have to be under a man, but under Allah now. So, of course, it had to happen gradually. It couldn't happen, just like they did with slavery, period, in the transatlantic. They didn't do that overnight. It had to be a gradual process because they didn't have any power. The Muslims didn't have any power then like that. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam didn't have any power over the Quraysh. They were harming them. They were attacking them at times and even trying to persecute them. I mean, that's what they was basically doing, trying to persecute them. Not even, that's what it was. Let me correct that. So basically, this is what was going on. So we got to get our heads straight or get away from being ingenuous, because you're gonna be found out. Because that means you're not truly sincere, because you're leaving out other details that need to be brought to the table. Just like people who go into and even want to take verses, they take verses and they interpret them, or they take hadith, which is in Islam the Prophet's statements and his actions that were narrated or written down and recorded from his companions. Okay, and is known also as his sunnah. His sunnah is his name, is his statements and his practice of Islam and implementing the Quran, the guidance of the Quran. Because for him, the Quran was the true guidance for all the Muslims, not his own words. It was Allah first, and he followed suit to what Allah said and just gave it to the people and taught them their faith. Just know that, and that he was not a perfect man, but he was the best of men at this time. And other prophets in their times were the best of, because Allah gave them that over creation to be able to disseminate that pure knowledge that he gave to them, which was his message to them. That's why they're called messengers as well as prophets. It's not just all about prophecy and they prophesizing. No, that is part of their life, but messenger was a part of some of the prophets' lives. Some of the prophets were just prophets. That's clear. Yes, they would just prophesize. They spoke to a certain amount of people that were surrounding them, their family, or so forth. Like Noah. They didn't have a scripture that was given to them, or or tablets that were preserved, so they wouldn't be considered a messenger. But these people, back to the point, was sent to mankind, and the Prophet ﷺ, he was sent to his people, and things happened gradually as it was going, just like the brother mentioned in his video. And check the brother's video out, Sujada method, Sunjuda method, if I'm correct, and the brother HTC speaking, about these issues, how Allah, gave the messenger this guidance as far as when the people were enslaved, and gradually they were given freedom. And again, I mentioned before that war leads to where the people do through their desires, they choose their war bounties. This is what we're gonna take. That's what I'm gonna do. We're not gonna kill everybody off. We're gonna take these women and these children and raise them in our tribe or in our society now. But we have to do it. If they're religious, they would do it correctly, like in Islam. But if they was just, because you got to understand, this stuff wasn't done from just religious people, as we say on quotes, religion. It was done with non-religious people who were naturally tribal or whatever they utilized. They might have had their spirituality that they knew and understood through their traditions in their tribe or their cultures. They may not have no as we might say, mainstream religion or Abrahamic faith. But basically, this is what has happened, through time. And mankind has made errors, Muslims included. And I don't condone any of the errors that the Arabs made in getting back on point on that. And this is why this whole situation came about. And this is why we have to put a note, a major clarity, a major note, and focus on it, because it is a problem, and people need to know. We don't need to be continually on, going and trying to educate our people, awaken our people, getting people over back to the motherland or back to Africa, so that they can have a sense of identity and a sense of history and a sense of clarity to know that there's somebody. And not just where, as they're saying, they have to march out there to say that our lives matter. We shouldn't even have to we shouldn't be doing it. That's just an opinion of mine, as well as many Muslims that know that marching doesn't lead to anything. Protests or marching without any clear, what you call, where the people are doing something tangibly, that are getting things done, not just yelling and raising your voice and waving flags. No, stuff is getting done. You're going into into administrations, you're getting things to happen. You're voting this in, or you're pressing for this to happen, and you're speaking to the people who are in charge and making sure that they keep getting things done. And if you are in leadership, you're not corrupt and you get things done. That's what makes things happen. Not just yelling and raising your voice and then likes of this. That you can get a dialogue and speak about an issue, but it got to go beyond that. So, doing that, Black Lives Matter, hey, all respects due to their intent, but that we shouldn't be having to do that. We should be struggling against the system with definitive and really tangible actions, things that are going to take place and make things move, make things happen. And if it's not, then get out. If you're here and you're stuck here like myself, you got to do what you can. If the system is against you too much, then Allah says the earth is spacious. Allah has created us and has given us plenty of earth. Leave and our land that we came from anyway. This is the point of diaspora. This is the point of the whole narrative of what's going on in relation to people trying to make migration back to Africa. And for the Muslims, it's considered, ours is hijrah, because we want to definitely leave the land of the non-Muslims that are against us here in America, that are racist, that are against even our faith, and go to the Muslim lands in Africa that will accept us for not just our faith but also our color, because we're not much different from them, because we came from them, So this is understood. But brothers and sisters, I've taken up enough time. I have to get myself prepared for work. Back on the back on the plantation again. But it is what it is. Qadr Allah wa ma sha fa'ala. In due time, Allah will give me what I need to get in my better situation where I can remove myself from this land and my family and the likes of this, and make that migration. And may Allah give us that. All of us, those who are struggling to do so, whether you are a Muslim or not, may Allah grant us. May Allah guide those who are not from the faith, and may Allah grant those who are of the faith all the guidance that to continue on, so that they will be good in their life. Allahumma ameen. So y'all have a good evening to come. Till the next time, and the next videos that will follow, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you very much. Have a good one. Peace.